generally, number one, the state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing a social order allowed by social, economic, and political justice, permitted by social, economic, and political justice. Article 38, Clause 1. State shall try to promote the welfare of the people. What state shall try? To promote the welfare of the people. Promote the welfare of the people by securing a social order. By how they will promote the welfare of the people? By securing a social order permitted by social, economic, and political justice. Article 38, Clause 1. Article 38, Clause 1. Number two, the state shall in particular strive to minimize the inequalities in income and endeavor to eliminate inequalities in status, facilities, and opportunities, not only among individuals but also among group of people residing in different areas or engaged in different vocations. State shall in particular try to minimize the inequalities. What state shall try? To strive to minimize the inequalities in income and endeavor to eliminate inequalities in status, facilities, and opportunities. Try to eliminate the inequalities in status, inequalities in facilities, inequalities in opportunities, not only among individuals but also among group of peoples residing in different areas or engaged in different vocations. Article 38, Clause 2. States shall endeavor to secure just and human condition of work, a living wage, a decent standard of living, social and cultural opportunities for all workers. Article 43. States shall try to secure good, just, reasonable, and good human condition of work, a living wage, a decent standard of living, and social and cultural opportunity to all workers. Article 43. Number 4. The state shall endeavor to raise the level of nutrition and standard of living to improve the health of the people. Article 47. State shall try to raise the level of nutrition and standard of living and to improve the health of the people. Article 47. Promotion of international peace and amity. Article 51. Number 6. Equitable distribution of material resources of the community and prevention of concentration of wealth and means of production. Article 39. Constitution 42nd Amendment Act 1976 is amended Article 39F. The new clause provides that children are given opportunities and facilities to develop in a healthy manner and in condition of freedom and dignity, and that childhood and youth are protected against exploitation and against moral and material abandonment. Constitution has inserted by this 42nd Amendment Act 1976 amended for 39 Clause F. It changed the 39 Clause F. A new clause provides what new clause provides for? It provides for that children are given opportunity and facilities. What kind of facility? For what purpose? For developing in a healthy manner and condition of freedom and dignity. For securing condition of freedom and dignity, and the childhood and youth are protected. Childhood and youth must be protected. Childhood and youth must be protected. Childhood and youth are protected against exploitation. Against what? What kind of protection? From which kind of offenses? Exploitation, or which kind of threats? Against exploitation and against moral and material abandonment. While interpreting the word distribution used in Article 39 Clause B, Justice Krishna Iyer said in the state of Karnataka versus Ranganath Reddy case 1978, AIR 1978 SC 315, that it cannot be given full play. It cannot be given full play as it fulfills basic purpose of restructuring the economic order. It embraces the entire material resources of the community. Its task is to distribute such resources. The entire material resources of the community starts to distribute such resources. This goal is to undertake distribution as best subserves the common good. It recognizes by such distribution the ownership and control. Directive in shaping the policy of the state. What are directives which shape the policy of the state? Number one, to establish economic democracy, democracy and justice, economic democracy and economic justice by securing certain economic rights. There must be some economic rights which equates or which democratize economic democracy, which established the economic democracy and justice by securing some economic rights. Number two, that to secure a uniform civil code, UCC under Article 44, which we have seen that in Uttarakhand UCC has been implemented. Number third, the Constitution 86th Amendment Act 2002 has substituted a new article for Article 45 of the Constitution, which provided that the state shall try to promote early childhood care and education for all children and until they complete the age of 6 years. The up to the until they're up to the age of 6 years, state as defined in Article 12 of the Constitution of India shall try to provide early childhood care and education to all children until they achieve 6 years of age. Number 2, to prohibit the consumption of liquor and intoxicating drugs except for medical purpose, Article 47. For medical purpose, liquor and intoxicating drugs can be permitted, but it shall be prohibited for apart from that. It is mentioned in Article 47 of the Constitution of India. To develop 47, prevention of liquor and intoxicating drugs. To develop cottage industries, Article 43 has been mentioned to develop cottage industry. Number 6, to organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern lines, Article 48. That means modern techniques of agriculture, drip irrigation system or any other new form of agriculture, modern lines. Agriculture must be conducted on modern lines. So that's mentioned in the Article 48 of the Constitution of India. To prevent slaughter of useful cattle, that means cow, calves, other milch and draught cattle, Article 48 also mentions prohibition for cow slaughter, calf slaughter, milch and other milch and draught cattle slaughter. Slaughter of useful cattle. What are those useful cattle? Example, cow, calves, other milch and draught cattle also mentioned in Article 48 of the Constitution of India. To organize village panchayat as units of self-government, Article 40 mentions about organizing village panchayat as unit of self-government. To protect and maintain place of historic and artistic interest, Article 49 mentions protecting, maintaining place of historical and artistic interest like Taj Mahal. So place of historic and artistic interest, protection of Taj Mahal or protection of place of historic or artistic interest is mentioned under Article 49 of the Constitution of India, and this is a directive principle of state policy. Number 10, to separate the judiciary from the executive. Judiciary shall be separated from the executive wing of the government. So Article 50 mentions about it. Number 11, to promote with special care the educational Brazil. Welcome Brazil. Welcome Ivi Vande Brito. Welcome. Thanks for coming. To promote with special care the educational and economic interest of the weaker section of the people. So weaker section of the society, the interest of the weaker section of the taking special care of education and economic interest of the weaker section of the society, mentioned under Article 46 of the Constitution of India. Directives to nature of non-justiciable right of every citizen. Non-justiciable right of every citizen. Number 1, right to adequate means of livelihood, Article 39A. It is not justiciable. We know that all the DPSP are not justiciable, but it is a directive to the state when they have the capacity to do or implement such policy, they have to implement these policies. Number 1, right to adequate means of livelihood, Article 39A. 39A, Article 39A mentions what? Right to adequate means of livelihood. Number 2, right of both sexes to equal pay for equal work, Article 39D. 39D mentions that equal pay for equal both sexes, right of both sexes, right of both gender to get the equal pay for equal work. Number 3, right against economic exploitation, Article 39C, Article 39E, and Article 39F. Right against economic exploitation. Number 4, right to work, Article 41 mentions about right to work. Number 5, right to education, Article 41 mentions the right to education. Number 6, right to public assistance in case of unemployment, old age, sickness, another case of undeserved want, Article 42. That means right of getting public help in case of unemployment. If the person is not employed in any institution, any unit, any factory, he is suffering from unemployment, then he has the right to get the public assistance. Right to get public assistance in case of old age, in case of sickness, in case of undeserved wants. So Article 42 mentions about it. Number 7, free legal aid to safeguard backward classes. Article 39A mentions about free legal aid to safeguarding backward class of the society. Number 8, participation of workers in the management of industry. 43A mentions about participation of workers in the management of the industries. 43A. Number 9, protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding forest and wildlife. 48A. Forest and wildlife must be protected, must be safeguarded. This is the directive principle of the state, and states must ensure that forest and wildlife must be safeguarded, environment must be improved, quality of life must be improved, quality of respiration must be improved, quality of inhalation and exhalation must be improved. This is the directive of the principle for the state in order to execute as per the capacity, planting trees, safeguarding trees, preventing cutting of trees. So protection and improvement of environment and safeguarding foreign and wildlife, Article 48A, mentioned in the Constitution of the India, enshrined under Article 48A. In Randhir Singh versus Union of India, Article 1982, Supreme Court 879. The Supreme Court has held that the principle of equal pay for equal work, though not a fundamental right, but is certainly a constitutional goal. Equal pay for equal work is not a fundamental right. It is not certainly a fundamental right, but certainly a constitutional goal. This is a constitutional goal and therefore is capable of enforcement through constitutional remedies provided under Article 32. Supreme Court can enforce this right. If you go and request by way of petition to the Supreme Court to enforce your right to equal pay for equal work, as it is not a fundamental but still a constitutional right, so it can be implemented and enforced under Article 32 of the Constitution of India. See also Surinder Singh versus Engineer-in-Chief PWD AIR 1986, Supreme Court 584. So explain the utility of the directives, how they are implemented. Since the directive principles have been embodied in the Constitution, the government are under an obligation to implement them. They may not be the legal force between them, but highest tribunal, the public opinion stands behind them. No government can afford to ignore these directives. If the government ignore it, then this will be fatal for them. It is not keen to doom its future for all time to come. The Constitution 25th Amendment Act 1976 enhanced the quality utility of directive principles. To give effect to the directive, Article 31C provides that no law which it intended to give effect to this principle shall be deemed to be void on the ground that it is inconsistent with or take away or abridges any of the rights conferred by Article 14 or 19. If a government passes any law on the basis of the directive principle of state policy, that law cannot be deemed inconsistent or violative of the fundamental rights of article 14 or 19, because it is backed by directive principles of state policy. If any law is made on the basis of directive principle of state policy, that law would be protected and shall not be deemed as inconsistent with the article 14 or 19. If it violates, even if it violates the article 14 or 19, it will be deemed to be not violative or not void on the ground that it is inconsistent, or it takes away or abridges any of the rights conferred by article 14 or 19. The second part of the article 31c provides that no law containing a declaration that it is for giving effect to such policy can be called in question on the ground that it does not in fact give effect to such policy. The Constitution 42nd Amendment Act 1976 has again amended article 31c. 42nd Amendment Act 1976 again amended. First amendment was 25th Amendment Act 1976, which talks about that the act made on the basis of the directive principle of state policy shall not become void on the ground that it takes away or inconsistent with Article 14 or 19. Then again, second amendment made on 42nd Amendment Act 1976, it also amended Article 31c, again amended and widened its scope. It gives precedence to all the directive principles of the fundamental rights of the citizens. It gives precedence. Amendment gives precedence over fundamental right to the directive principle of state policy. If a law is enacted for giving effect to any of the directives mentioned in the parts 4, its validity cannot be challenged in the court on the ground that it is inconsistent with any of the rights granted under Article 14 or 19. In the Minerva Wills versus Union of India, AIR 1980, Supreme Court 1789, Supreme Court may has a majority of 4 to 1 struck down Article 31c as amended by 42nd Amendment, in that it destroys the basic feature of the judicial review of the Constitution. And when Vaman Rao versus Union of India, AIR 1980, Supreme Court 273, it has been held that unamended Article 31c gives protection to a defined and limited categories of laws. They are vital for the welfare of the people. This article, as it stood before 42nd Amendment, far from destroying, will fortify the basic structure of the Constitution. The Constitution 44th Amendment Act 1978 has made a potential amendment in Part 3 of the Constitution in so much as that it removed the Article 31 right to property and subclause F of Article 19 from this part. This change automatically affects Article 31c so far as the fundamental rights referred to him in this article is concerned. All references to Article 31 are to be deleted from Article 31c. It is obvious from the above fact that though directive principles are not enforceable, their constitutional sanctity is an undisputed fact. Guided by directives, the central government and state have tried to the best to their resources to implement a large number of directives. Article 39b, the government has abolished the old institution of hereditary proprietors such as jamindars, jagirdars, etc., and made the tillers of the soil real owners of the land. Besides, this law have been enacted in many states for improvement of the condition of the cultivators. Similarly, untouchability, the age-old curse of the Indian society, has now made an offence punishable by law. The government has fixed minimum wages of the labourers and has improved their condition of employment. Panchayats have been established and have been given ample powers. For the improvement of cottage industries, several boards have been constituted. Today, towards the follow-up of these directives of state policy, certain major banks have been nationalized. Privy purse and other privileges of rulers have been abolished. The 25th Constitution in the 25th Amendment of the Constitution is the most important step towards socio-economic reform. 25th Amendment is the most important step towards socio-economic reform. So that's all about the directive principle of state policy. If you find it very useful, please like, share, subscribe my YouTube channel. Thank you for watching.